Ah ha ha ha! I have finally reached hour 1130 in Kenshi. Ah, man, it's been good playing Kenshi. Most of that hours was just me, like, sitting there doing nothing. Anyway, I guess I should work on the build video now. Wait, what do you mean you don't want to see a Fate Traitor Soul build? It's not finished anyway. Alright, let's go do the zombie build for Craft Exile 2. Hi everyone. Today I have a new build to show off for the release of Craft Exile 2. I've been ping-ponging between a bunch of different builds, and I finally decided I'm just going to pick one, and I've decided to go with one that is involving summoning, as it is one of the different build types that has actually been changed in a way that makes it better. Or at least that's what the patch notes were to say. I've never actually played around with summoning too much on this mod pack version. I think back in the day I didn't really play with it either. There was summoning, I think, in Dissonance, but I don't really remember it too well because that's how you can really tell that I didn't play with it too much. So, I mean, the closest thing I can think of that I've really toyed with mostly is probably just totems. But I don't think that really counts as summoning, right? Anyway, the kind of build that we have here today is a fire summoning build. So I have the Warlock and Crusader skill sets selected as my skill sets. For the Warlock class, I'll just go through all of the skills and the passives for each of these first. For the Warlock class, the main skill that I have here, with the rest of the skills not really mattering too much, is exactly Summon Zombie. Summon Zombie is great because it's Summon Zombie. It's like, you can make a lot of these. This is probably one of the best, this is probably the best summoning spell. Because of the fact that it just keeps on summoning, you can stack all their damage up. It's like you hitting an enemy 9 times. Or more. You can hit them more times, actually. But I have only 9 on my character, I believe, in terms of the max summoning. So, let me double check that. Yeah, I've only got 9. 10 is actually the real max. Like, that's the hard max. You can't go any more than 10. You didn't know that. So yeah, I've got a summoning build with just, what you'd expect summon zombies. This is really the main crux of the entire build, so this is very important that you get this. It does all the damage. None of these other spells really do damage. Curse of Weakness is just here because removing their elemental resistance may or may not matter. Usually really doesn't. I mean, it does give you something to do though, because as I will go into later, this build is not it's not really hands-on, let's say that, to put it nicely. I do have explode minions, but it's not really good. I don't know if you should use explode minions. You kind of just sacrifice all your DPS for a big bang that doesn't do any damage. And then return summons is here. Return summons, I'm just gonna nip this right now, is not a great spell in my opinion. If it just put every single summon towards you immediately, it would be wonderful, but it actually doesn't do that. It does the nearby ones. Same thing with the explode minions. It only does the nearby ones for explode minions, and sometimes it feels like it doesn't even do the nearby ones. These spells are just kind of here because I've run out of things to put my points into. Looking at the passive effects, we have the obvious choices here. There's a bit of DOT attached to this build in the form of burn, so I do have DOT. There's also summon damage, obviously. I picked up like this much damage over time health leech. I believe that you get capped really, really quickly, and I don't have any cap increasers at all. So I kind of just have to rely on only 4%. I don't imagine that I would get anything if I put 16 in here. And then I just have cast speed, because cast speed is it's good for getting more and more summons. Anyway, the other side of this, I've been bouncing around looking at every single one of these to figure out what is the best way for me to do it. I haven't done an extensive amount of bouncing around, but I've been looking at all these, and the best way I thought that you could do it was probably with Rogue, but if you pick up Rogue, you are really, really gonna do nothing. Because None of these do anything. None of these really do anything. These don't really do anything. Sharpen doesn't really affect your summons damage. And on top of that, you have dodge rating, which means you have to be playing a dodge rating build. So I'm not doing that. The only reason why you would have to do this, though, is because this gives you ailment damage, and ailment damage is great for DOT. This means that you can make a very high impact bleed build with your zombies. But again, I thought this was way too boring, so I picked up Crusader instead because it says burn damage on it. All the other ones, notably, don't really have like a DOT related effect to them. So it really is a shame that there's not really that many options if you want to go DOT. Well, that one was the DOT class, so that's not really fair. This one's not DOT really. I don't think there's DOT to even this one. There's Electrify Chance. That's like okay. There's mostly just chances here. There's not really any like damage over time increasers. So I ended up rolling on this burn damage one in Crusader. And the basic idea was that Crusader would be my gateway to being able to survive better in the form of Defiance. Because the one thing you gotta do as a summon build is actually just not die. For some reason, it feels like a lot of the time, your summons don't actually draw too much threat. And that means that you're going to be attacked a lot of the time, even if you have a bunch of mobs. So this helps you mitigate a lot of the damage. Defiance does. Now this whole skill set, none of it also really matters. The only other skill here that really matters is Reckoner's Flail, because this is good for grabbing certain mobs out of corners, such as spiders. Sometimes zombies and I think every single mob can get stuck on this one map where there's water that comes from down, like it comes from above and down. It can pull all these mobs out of places, and then your summons can hit them. I actually learned in a recording before this that I decided I didn't record it well enough. You can actually pull even the Ender Dragon, but this doesn't really do anything, so you can pull the Ender Dragon to you, but it doesn't let you hit him, because the Ender Dragon, I learned in that former recording that I'm probably still going to use for like the combat portion. You'll probably see it. The Ender Dragon has a whack hitbox, so it's impossible for your summons to hit him. And then we have Fist of the other skills here are Fist of Judgment and Safeguard. Safeguard I'm going to get to very soon here, but Fist of Judgment is just here because it's the highest damaging one. The whole sacrifice your health thing is not going to matter, I'll tell you that much, whenever I get to the talents portion. So the fact that this just does, or it says it can do 2,051 damage is great and all, but I actually kind of like deleted all my all my lightning damage for fire damage. So this actually doesn't do as much. It's really not that great of a spell, but the even less great of a spell is definitely Safeguard here, which absolutely doesn't do anything. This literally doesn't do anything for me. The only line of text here that matters is 21% health. That's it. See that Safeguard stats, 21% health. My build specifically does never block. It never ever blocks. I'll go over now my skill hotbar. Yeah, you can really tell what spell I care about here, and that's exactly Summon Zombies. And I've got it just maxed out with a bunch of stuff here. I'd like to make a remark, too. The zombies deal a melee skill. Melee skill attack. Very important. Melee skill attack, which means that this affects it, and this affects it. And this means that you can pretty much always be on 8% damage reduction. That just says, you basically just get a blanket 8% damage reduction. That's literally what this says. On top of the 7.1% melee skill damage. It doesn't even matter about the percentage chance. And then I just have the usual things like fire, and summon. These ones really don't matter, honestly. They literally don't. None of them matter. I could probably attach some kind of increased area effect to either this one or this one, but honestly, it don't matter too much, I don't think. Oh, one more thing is that I have these as my augments. I actually for a long time had a struggle finding a good armor augment, but then I found one, so that was good. Just got summon damage. I honestly need to find a better summon damage one. The armor one and the health regen one. Got a mythic health regen. It's really sick. I think I've had that before too, though. No, I think I had a magic shield one. Magic shield regen mythic. That one was really sick too. As you know, I like to make. Actually, you might not know this. I usually make a new world whenever there's a major update, because mods kind of shift around. If you don't know, there's some crazy changes since I played that Let's Play like a while back ago. Like I remember at some point they had freaking ice and fire in this mod pack. Then they tossed it out. The huge create change, that one caused a lot of trouble. I actually don't always have the same loot across worlds. Wait, let's continue on with the build. I think I'm just gonna go over the gear next. I've got an armor style build here, which is probably obvious by the fact that I have the augment. But also I've realized that in this particular update, armor is much better than it was before. A lot better. So that's why I've kind of spec'd into it more. I've got some usual things here. Fortitude is just a real, like, probably the highest defense. Literally the highest defense rune word. I've just got some mythic pants. This is for the codex stuff. I need mythic pants for codexes. Sometimes you need to wear certain pieces of equipment to fill in gaps. I don't think my current codex is like this, but this was something that I had before to fill in another codex, and I decided to just keep it. It's not incredibly good, but it's passing, you know, it's fine. And these shoes as well. As I said before, I've actually broken shoes before. I said that in the level video, that I broke my shoes. And I actually had trouble finding more shoes. I actually kind of lack armor shoes, so I just have this one. I'm going to go over the weapon last, because there's something I have to talk about with that. I just have the usual stuff for rings. It's mostly just things like resistances. Something special with this ring is that I've decided to go with more strength for more armor. At some point I actually had double decks in here because I was again bouncing around things and I was trying to play with hollow palm. I actually got a second hollow palm right before I started recording, even like the last one that I said I didn't really want to use. But yeah, this thing is just weird and it's not very good, so I ended up not using it. Anyway, now onto my weapon of choice. I chose to use a scythe. This makes the choice of picking up the retribution thing, aka this first Crusader skill, even less impactful. The safeguard thing, because you can't block with a scythe. So that's why that one makes even less sense. I just want it for the health increase. You know, health is good. Health is real good for surviving. And now I think I can talk about the talents. Now the talents is give it 50 years to load because if you know this, talents now take 50 years to load for some reason. I don't know why. The talents I've gone for is along the axe pathway, because the axe pathway has a lot of burn stuff closest to it. All the burn stuff for some reason is in like this quadrant. If I type in burn, there's gonna be some up here, but it's mostly down. There's like more down here in my opinion. There's also this stuff, this nether enthusiast stuff here, which is very important. You need that stuff for your fire build. It means you don't have to go into more nodes, or as many nodes rather, which is good. But I want to talk about something more meta than just my build. I want to talk about how much better health regen has become. Health regen in this version, it's far and away better than everything else you can be doing. Blood has become so much better. Well, actually, I'm not sure about this. It might already have been really good, but I think it got even better. Even though I've never played around with blood too much in this mod pack version, I think it probably got better. Because these flat health regen buffs that are just sitting everywhere, these are way better than the 10% that existed before. I think they were like 10%. Now they're flat health regen buff. 41, gaining 41 health regen and then having multipliers, or yeah, these are multipliers, right? Or even if they are multipliers, if they're additive, it's really, really powerful. So I think that health regen got a major buff in this one. All the other regions did too, but I think those other regions actually didn't benefit as much as health regen did, because there's way more nodes for these health regen buffs than there are magic shield ones. Heck, I think the other regen types in general didn't get as many. Like, there's so few of these other ones in comparison to the health regen ones. There's just so much health regen. But with blood, you've gone even further beyond, because all these health regen buffs basically just read ×2. They all just go ×2 now. So now you double your health regen that you gained from here. All these basically become 82s instead of the 41s here. And that's also part of the reason why I say that armor is king. If you pick up a magic shield build, you can no longer really take advantage of this, because it's very important that you pick up this on the magic shield build. What happens is that as a magic shield build, whenever I was playing with it, like any kind of magic shield build, it felt like my last hit was actually whenever I ran out of magic shield. Didn't matter how much health I had, because I couldn't gain enough damage over time. Because I couldn't gain enough armor by sacrificing my health regen. By sacrificing my health rather, or energy shield, or magic shield. I keep wanting to say energy shield because of Path of Exile. I would die at like no magic shield from like full health. So this turns out to be important, like necessary almost. Therefore, you can't even use blood because it takes off of your health bar, which is a real shame. If you do play a magic shield build, you're gonna have to find a way to regenerate mana, either through the talents or not the talents, the Ascendancies, or some kind of skill. That's what I had to do when I tried to play a totem build. I tried several builds, again, very many builds. And with that, I would like to go on to the Ascendancies. I picked up this Ascendancy. If I were trying to do a summon build and I were trying really hard to win and try to kill everything, I would either try to go with this one or this one and go with like a bleed build. This one gives you a lot more damage so that you can actually kill things, but this one makes you invincible nearly. All these other ones are okay, but one thing I forgot to mention with my summons and all that stuff, all my gear, is that there is a piece of equipment here that I have that's very important with summons, and it's this Overlord helmet. This makes it to where you don't have to actually spend so much on Ascendancies to get the summons. Like, if I were not to pick up that particular piece of equipment up, I would kind of have to go into here and do other things to get all my summons. But with the Overlord and some talents I've picked up, I'm up to 9 without even having to do any kind of Ascendancy spending. Okay, if the talent tree will open. There we go. Yeah, I've got this one and got that one. Those are the actually, I think, the only summon increasers. I believe there aren't any other ones. There's that one, and then there's that one, and the rest of these are just the damage and all. Try to get your gear and equipment in a way, your gear and your talents in a way that you don't have to do something like this. Or, you could do the reverse. You could go in on this and then you don't have to do all that stuff. But if you pick this up, I would generally think you were playing a magic shield build. I'm just going to go over what I did. Because I decided to pivot to fire instead, I went with the Chieftain. Because the Chieftain has this weird fire drinking stuff and fire damage. And there's a lot of fire. There's burn damage here. Then there's also all this health regen stuff. None of this stuff on this side can be used if you decide to do what I'm doing, because, I mean, it's totem stuff. I'm not playing a totem build, so I can't really use this. But I also really thought, for some reason, that this would be some kind of Bupkis effect, where it would give my max cold resist and my max lightning resist like 75%. It doesn't work that way. It's just It's just whatever your increased max fire resistance is, you gain that to your max lightning resistance. So if you have 5% max fire resistance or increase, so will your lightning and ice, or cold. It's kind of funky that it says it like this, right? It's kind of weird that it says it like this, but it does say it like this. That is how it works. As you can see, I only have 77. I don't have 150% on both of these. I don't have negative damage from cold and lightning resist. But yeah, that's pretty much the build. I've also got some jewels here. This is actually one of the few builds where I've picked up so many jewel slots because I am, look at that, oh, level 100. I'm level 100 with this build for once. So I've actually got jewel slots. And I've just got really all resistance jewel slots. Not much else to these. So yeah, I think I'm gonna retrofit the gameplay that I had before this. I go over a rare map and the Ender Dragon, and that's it. But I also have to finish off with some other points here about this build. There's something secret about the Warlock class. That line there that says these, let's just erase the word skeletons. Let's just say extra summons instead. Don't count toward the maximum summons limit. That is lying to you. I know this because I have summoned skeletons and then summoned zombies, and it would only let me have 6 zombies with my 9 max summons. The reason why I could tell that the summons weren't going through is because I would see a zombie disappear and then a new zombie appear. That means that the slots were being eaten by the skeletons. I don't know if this is something maybe that I did, some kind of human error, or if it's a bug. So this may or may not be bugged. I don't know about that. I also don't know too much if also the wisps don't count. I think they count too, but I can't really be sure because the last time I did this was a long while ago. I only tried summon wisps a very long while ago. I think I was playing like a cold summon build when I played with summon wisps. But those are my 4 warnings about the summon spells. Oh yes, okay. That is pretty much all I want to talk about with the build. But if you're playing summons, I think you should also know that this item right here, Rod of the Skies, becomes a lot better with Elytra because you get to run away from all the mobs. And if you just hit 1 or whatever key you have the weapon on, you can immediately just continue fighting from afar with your summons. That's my tip for how these tools work together. And then, of course, always remember to have the Globetrotter Sash or the Sojourner Sash because you need to be able to escape so that your mobs can kill all the other mobs. I thought it would be pertinent to talk about those tools in this one because even though these are good, great, generic tools, the Rod of the Skies with Elytra and Sojourner's, or rather, Globetrotter / Sojourner's Sash, running away is what you're going to be doing a lot of the time with the summoning build. Even though, again, even though you do have all your summons, you can still get swamped. There's so many mobs. You don't get something like a stun or like an AoE with this class. So you have to kind of just rely on waiting for all of your summons to kill everything for you. But that's pretty much it involving the totality of my summon build. I do want to say, though, and emphasize this. If you do decide to go the bleed route, I do think it's very rigid, and I do think that this is exactly what you have to do because of the fact that there's no other ailments. There's no other ailment increasers on this entire thing. There's no bleed anywhere. You really just have to stick with Rogue Warlock if you want to do for the bleed stuff. And with that, I'm going to cue into the gameplay that I had recorded previously. Along and consider all the options that have been played out here. Also, never use dodge chance. Bye-bye. I'm just gonna do one map because, I mean, like, I don't think I'm gonna struggle against a lot of stuff. Now, I've actually been having trouble getting the slots for this, so I've actually been using the keyboard's enter and apostrophe key. No, wait, sorry. No, it is apostrophe key. Yeah. You'll see that most of the freaking gameplay is just me sitting here. It sucks. And watching. You'll see that I'm also not dying instantly, even though there's literal tens of thousands of mobs around. This is the main strength of the build, is that you really don't need to worry too much about damage. Now sometimes I do feel like way too sleepy to play, and then I just like die because I like don't look at my health at all. But if you play carefully, you can very easily beat it, especially if you find like a place to perch up. Even if you get knocked off, you can just re-perch up and then wait to win. The sad part about summon builds though really is exactly what you're seeing on the screen. I'm just sitting here and waiting for my mobs to do things. I don't really feel... This is a really non-active build. Again, not hands-on. Anyway, I think I'm gonna go through this dungeon and look directly for the boss, because I'm not really too concerned with trying to show that I can survive through all this. Here, in fact, I'm gonna do what I would call the home pearl shuffle, where you just go back with the home pearl and you go back in and you get your boss soulstone. Okay, where's the boss? Oh, there he is. Oh, this is actually one of the worst bosses. I hate this boss. If you roll this boss, I feel bad for you. I feel bad for myself too whenever it happens. If you fight this boss, I remember whenever I had like the double bosses thing, which, oh my god, double bosses is a terrible, terrible relic. I remember when I got the double boss thing, I would get double of this guy and it was like impossible. Yeah, you'll see that what I said about the training dummy thing, it's true. You don't have to worry. If your DPS says what the training dummy says, and there's no resistance on your boss, that is how much damage you're going to be dealing to the boss. It's going to be very fast. It's going to be very effective. There's only one guy, right? Of course this is how it's going to work. Oh, you know, I didn't really get to showcase the Chain of Retribution, the Flail of Retribution. So I'm going to go ahead and showcase that off before I leave here. You know, there are actually a few mobs that just instantly basically cancel your summons. And one of them is for sure the Block and Chain Golem. Or Goblin, rather. For some reason in maps, he does a lot of damage to summons. The attack that the summons do... Oh, here we go. Here's something. So see how... Oh, the freaking... See how the summons get caught up on this one singular spider? I can freaking... Oh, okay. Can you guys kill these mobs, please? Somebody kill these mobs. Okay. See how this spider is making my zombie confused and has no idea where to go? The chain actually helps here because it lets you pull them out of corners and then you don't have to worry about that kind of thing ever again. It actually does come up. Like, it actually really does come up. It's one of the very few things that comes up in this build. I wish I got another obliterator. I really do. That would actually be great. Let me go to Indidido. Yeah, I have like a crystal here. Or waystone here. Can we Reckoner's Flail the Ender Dragon? I mean, I can probably Reckoner's Flail the little Ender Dragon, right? Can I Reckoner's Flail the little Ender Dragon? Okay, you know what? Let's just summon the Ender Dragon. They're really hard to hit. Oh yeah, you can Reckoner's Flail the little one. Let's see about the big one. You can! That's so funny. Okay, wait, that's really funny. Wait, that actually helps too. Wait. Oh, this is amazing. You can Reckoner's Flail the freaking Ender Dragon. That's funny. That's really funny. Come on, go grab him. Yay! Okay, kill him. Kill him, summons. Kill him. Kill him, summons. Kill him. Kill him. Kill him! No, it's not working! They're all going for the head! He's not Thanos! Just go for his body! I don't think they can hit him. I think he's got too big of a hitbox. Yeah, this is... I swear... Okay, I'm gonna go on a little rant here. I swear something happened with the Ender Dragon's hitbox, that he got, like, a bigger hitbox or something. Because I don't remember it being this annoying. Anyway, let's see how good this is against the Ender Dragon. Any good? That did, like, nothing. That did the smallest little bit of damage. I mean, I think it's pretty obvious that I would be able to defeat the Ender Dragon, right? If I'm level 100 and he's level 85, I think he's max level 85. There's no way he could beat me. Fight. He's either 85 or 90. Let me see. Oh, it's 90. Okay, he's level 90. That's still 10 levels below me. Like, I don't know how he could possibly beat me. Oh, I actually killed him with that slash. Did the end rune drop? Nope. No end rune for me. Womp womp.